what do you do to make sure you always have interesting ideas that are kind of bubbling up or fresh takes on things? So how are you taking in information? How are you kind of synthesizing the stuff that you're reading and researching? And then how does that make its way into the writing that you do?
I think my most generalizable advice that's also maybe the most interesting and surprising is to be more indulgent than you think you should be. I think people have a mindset of being really like diligent, where they're like, oh, I like need to do this, so I should do it. Like I was assigned to do this. It doesn't matter if I'm like not feeling it. I need to do it. And you definitely need a lot of that. You need a lot of discipline and sort of like there's going to be moments when you feel like quitting and like you shouldn't quit. But at the same time, you need to balance it with, okay, this is a little different than like what we were originally thinking, but like this could be really great. And to like sort of allow yourself to go there and maybe just give yourself permission to try it. Be like, I'm just going to spend like an hour on this and like, we'll see. Maybe it's nothing, whatever. That is where all the good stuff comes from, in my opinion. And people shut it off because they're like, no, that's not on task, you know?
Yeah.
And so the big difference is if it feels like you're being indulgent in a sort of distracted way, where you're not actually even working on anything in this zone at all, or you're just fiddling around with stuff like, oh, I'm just setting up my tools or whatever, then like that's not good. But if you're exploring in a direction that's genuine progress, but maybe there's some expectations in your head from like a client or a friend or a colleague or an editor or whatever, that
for yourself.
Like, yeah, for yourself is the most important one. But it's like often I think the version of ourself that like is going to come up with a great thing, like it's already there inside our heads. It's these voices that we've internalized that are telling us to like do something else. Like a lot of it's like, honestly, our teachers, back to my school thing. But like, you know, that is, I think, really important. And I think most great stuff ends up being kind of unexpected. But it's like when you're in the thick of it, when you're in the details of it, you could see a thing that you couldn't see from the outside. Sometimes when you're in the thick of it, you see why the thing you thought originally wouldn't work and you don't know something better. Other times when you're in the thick of it, you see a new thing that's like, the old thing could be kind of good too, but this new thing may be even better, you know? And I think just being able to follow those things and knowing the difference between doing that and like just basically procrastinating is a really, really important and useful skill. And I think it's applicable pretty broadly across writing or developing software or whatever. The reason why it's rare is because school beats it out of us. But yeah, I think changing the task when you're in the middle of it is the secret. It's not the secret, but whatever. It's like one trick that like has worked well for me because I'm naturally very ADD and indulgent. So I have unusual advantages in this regard.
Subscribe to Outliers with Daniel Scrivner now in Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you like to listen to podcasts. And be the first to hear about new episodes and receive exclusive content by joining our newsletter at outliers.fm. I can't wait to help you level up and live your best life.